2024 and this urgent warning to the world. Today, on a beautiful Friday, please break the algorithms, get this message out to as many people as you can. Again, I am General Greene, Christopher Greene, founder and creator of the Digital Noah's Ark here at islandproject.com, the safe haven investment during World War III, economic collapse, stock market crash, and bank runs in the United States and the West, built for you, tuning in as a safe haven cash flow producing investment with no bank debt to park your money somewhere safe during crisis, during the ensuing events, which I'm going to talk about today, which are significant. We have U.S. stocks down 500 points earlier this morning in a massive shedding of losses across all three major indexes. We have gold breaking new all-time highs on the threat and fears of World War III and escalating tensions in Israel and also Ukraine and now Iran. I'm going to talk about this story and more. JP Morgan Chase stock suffering 6% losses earlier today on worse than expected results. They released their earnings before the market opened and collapsed 6.5%. We are also seeing opportunities present themselves as we are approaching just within days tax season, April 15th, which historically always proves to be a very volatile period where you're going to want to pick your opportunities in crypto, get that to-do list out, which we'll talk about on what to buy on the weakness as hyperinflation continues. All this and more today. Please like and share. I want to see at least 1,000 likes. Get it to 2,000 likes. Get it to, get it to 3,333 likes today. Share with your friends and family so that they can get ready and ahead of what I believe is coming. Again, I've been doing this for a very long time, nearly 2 decades now. I have been warning of the digital reset longer than many of you can remember, long before the mainstream media started talking about it, long before they came up with terms like the Great Reset. I was talking about the Great Reset before there was a Great Reset. We were talking about, along with you, my amazing subscribers, since I've been doing this since 2008 and 09, have been talking about all these hyperinflationary pressures, what would happen with the technology revolution, how blockchain would redefine the entire asset class itself as we were all reset into hyperinflationary, highly controlled, and highly surveilled CBDCs, which is why I invented and founded the #1 asset class of freedom in the world, islandproject.com. Links below. I encourage you, while stocks are crashing, and I believe that we are going to get more down days, and I believe we are on the precipice, ladies and gentlemen, of another 2008 and 09 emergency, something that we haven't seen since the stock market crash in 1987, where I believe the U.S. stock market lost near 20% of all of its value overnight. I believe, and the equivalent of that today would be a crash. It lost 22% in 1987. From 1929 to 1932, stocks plummeted 83%. You remember the history books, people were throwing themselves outside of windows. There were cars for sale in the city streets. Panic in New York as traders were attempting to sell, but they couldn't get out. The stampede hit. And then, of course, the government came in, much like they did in 2008 and 09, and also in 2020 by shutting down small and medium-sized businesses and only benefiting the too big to fails and the essentials, then went and confiscated most of America's farmlands that had taken on debt, that had taken on margin, which we'll talk about that today. This is one reason, the primary reason, islandproject.com has no bank debt. You see, we've designed this biblically in nature, understanding the threat that was coming to all of your portfolios and why it is so important today to onboard. Give my father a call, John Greene, Papa John at 808-442-2934. That's 808-442-2934. Leave a text or a voicemail for a callback and immediately on board in the members tab at islandproject.com. You can fund with ACH right now, wire transfer right now today, debit and credit card if you want to use that. And we also accept all major crypto, which we prefer: Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, USDC, etc. And I have been warning and telling all of you to take 25% profits in recent weeks, which again has been proven to be excellent advice as we now see stocks crash and we see many altcoins. These are buying opportunities down anywhere from 20 to 40%. Now, I want you to keep in mind that a 22% plunge, like in 1987, would be the equivalent of near 9,000 points shed on the Dow Jones Industrial Average in a single trading session. This is why I believe that there's going to be bank runs. I believe that there will be stock market closures. I believe that the central bank and the Federal Reserve, along with the president, whoever that is, will declare capital controls in the United States, freeze your accounts to where you can't roll them over, to where you can't move your money, to where you don't have control of your cash, where the FDIC, which many believe is insolvent, with just 1.5%, many suspect, of all insurance on the deposits that are currently at banks. This is the setup, and I believe the greatest inside job con to ever come to America in particular and the westernized world. So again, it is just critical, guys. God bless all of you tuning in. Jesus Christ is Lord. I just thank you so much for clicking that thumbs up. I thank you so much for sharing, more importantly, this video across our multiple social media networks and supporting what I've been doing here, joining and onboarding the Digital Noah's Ark in droves. We have broken all funding records this week. I'll do a quick shout out, and then I'm going to get to these major stories, and we're going to talk a lot about the impending attack on Israel by Iran today. But I did want to do a quick shout out to Mr. Plaskett, who is now officially onboarded. Congratulations, Bill. 1,000 units into islandproject.com. That makes him a islandproject.com millionaire. The Diamond Nut status has been unlocked today for Bill. God bless you, sir. It is an honor to serve you. I know my father's really enjoyed getting to know you, all of the meetings that you've had in Honolulu. I hear wonderful things. Can't wait to shake your hand. It is an honor. Also, another shout out to the Pits. My boy, you're my boy. Blue comes in, steps up personally up to the 500 unit Diamond Net status as well earlier in the week. It is an honor. Also had some great discussions with Carlos. Spoke with you, onboarded his first 30 units into the project. I know he worked really hard to get those first 30 units. Carlos, we had a great call. I know you've been following me for years. I really appreciate you. Also, enjoy your vacation that you're taking. Have a blast. And thank you for sending me those fencing videos. That is so awesome that you do that. Totally badass. I love all martial arts, combat sports. So does my dad. And it's been an honor getting to know you as well as you've onboarded your first 30 units. Also, I have a really great call coming up with Lon, Mr. Duvall. Looking forward to that as well. I believe is onboarded. Correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not in front of my computer, but another 30 units just came on to islandproject.com. So make sure you reach out to my dad. Let's talk about Israel. Links will be placed up here and below. And do it this weekend before the tax sell-off continues. And by the way, I'm not a tax professional. I have to say that. Not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. See our terms and agreements. See if you qualify. But make your move now. There could be serious tax advantages to moving over this weekend, today on Friday, before the April 15th cutoff. So if you've been thinking, hey, I'm going to get in with my 30 units, not only do you want to do that today, because I can't guarantee we're going to have any more availability and you're going to want to fund, but in addition to that, with the April 15th deadline, there could be, please, seek advice from your tax, a CPA. I'm not one, but there could be very major advantages to doing these rollovers, executing, and more importantly, funding now before that cutoff date. So make sure you do that. I also have more calls scheduled this week. So let's talk about what's going on. We have the stock market down 500 points on the absolute hard-hitting facts that inflation's continuing, that the central bank has lost complete control, like I told you, because it's by design in what they want. Jerome Powell hasn't halted inflation. It's skyrocketing up to 20+%. These are the real shadow stats every single year in the United States of America. So if you're losing 20% of your money every single year in cash, we just had the Quran family come in with 500 units this week as well. God bless you, Quran. Honor onboarding you, your family, your parents, your wonderful father. But we had a big discussion on that in recent weeks because they were sitting on millions of dollars in cash, producing nothing at a bank where I fear there will be runs. So you made a really wonderful move, all glory to God, by rolling over and coming in with those additional funds up to your 500 units to safe haven it somewhere very, very smart as all of this unfolds. But with 20% hyperinflation annually, which you see in rents, oil, gold probably soon as it's breaking new all-time highs. I think oil we could see well above $100 a barrel very shortly. I think we could see record highs. I mean, who knows, guys? It might get as bad as $10 a gallon at the pump in the very near future. This is in the midst of a chaotic election year on top of it too. So total chaos during World War, during hyperinflation. You're losing all of your money in just 5 years. Think about it. 20% loss, 20% loss, 20% loss, 20% loss, you're done. So if you have $1 million, if you have $1,000 at the bank, $100,000 at the bank, at real shadow stat hyperinflationary run rates, you're actually at zero every 5 years. This is why you need to get into an income producing asset. This is why islandproject.com is so important. It pays cash flows. It has no debt. It has large capital gains. In addition to that, it's being tokenized on a 1000x liquidity event in our proprietary blockchain launch that will make all of my members diamond nuts rich, 1000x rich, as they receive tokens in addition to their core safe haven investment that can never go anywhere, that has true every single year new appraised value as it appreciates here on the beautiful Maui, Oahu, Maui, Booyah Islands as we expand. Beautiful properties. Of course, we own 4 properties now, debt-free. Our amazing spec home that's under development now, in addition to 2 world-class multi-million-dollar beachfront condos. Paid $3 million for Maui beachfront condo just a couple of months ago, month or two ago. $2.2 million in Waikiki. Many of you have stayed at that unit, my members. Amazing unit. Beachfront, grab your surfboard. You're out on the famous Waikiki Strip, right in front of the Duke statue. In addition to that, our 5-acre farm with 2 different properties already constructed and the spec. So we're really at 6 properties now. Very, very prudent move to get into a real asset. And I'm going to keep mentioning that today because this is a giant, giant warning for all of y'all to make the move now. Okay, especially for my boys and girls out there in Texas. You know I love Texas. You're our biggest state out there. I got a lot of oil men. I've got tons of American patriots from Texas, and specifically, you're our largest state in the continental United States because you understand freedom. More importantly, you understand sound money. It's what I love about Texas. You guys are just amazing. I wasn't born Texan, but I feel like my spirit and my blood boils with the Texas people, and I love you guys so much out there. Shout out to the great state of Texas, the resistance. So we're seeing stocks tumble. Now, keep in mind, I have been warning that all the powers that were, I don't call these people elites, I call them scum. Jamie Dimon, who's never sold any shares, has been selling Chase stock for the first time ever in like his 40-year tenure. Keep in mind, he's already dumped. So now that their stock has gone down 6.5%, 7%, maybe 10% next week, on Monday, he's already out. Okay, so he's already dumped on all of America's heads. He's also warning of geopolitical conflict, inflation that can't stop, commodity price hikes, etc. All these people have sold. Tim Cook has been selling Apple stock very, very aggressively. We're seeing the significant 7 absolutely bleed right now. Apple was flat, but all the other companies, Tesla has even been warned its stock could trade as low as $15 a share, according to some Wall Street analysts. Now, we probably have to have a total, 80% collapse, 2008, 09, 1929 situation for that to happen. But no one says that can't happen. Keep in mind, Bank of America, which went bankrupt in 2008 and 09 and then had to merge with Merrill Lynch, that collapsed to zero, sunk as low as $3 a share on its way to zero, and was in the process of a giant collapse, just like we've seen with hedge funds collapsing in the past because they're margined, they have too much debt, they don't have your money at the bank. It's been lent out 10x on leverage and at usury interest. They don't have your money. Again, if you all go to the bank now and say, hey, I want to move and roll over your funds, if everybody's doing it at the same time, you won't get out. And that's why I'm telling you now, you need to get out now. Like, do it today before the panic is obvious, because I'm right about this. Again, I keep warning about this because I know it's coming. Again, God has instructed me to build the digital Noah's Ark. It's why we're breaking new all-time funding rates. It's not me. I'm carrying forward the torch. This is the work of Jesus Christ the King. My Father and I are simply just soldiers leading the charge for the kingdom as you onboard. The door is about to close. It is a must for you to get in right now. Let's get to the heartbreaking, gut-wrenching story that while Larry Fink of BlackRock says he does think we might see some rate cuts this year, although inflation will continue to skyrocket, he's also been buying Bitcoin, which I've been telling you to do long before the cabal of BlackRock ever got in. If you've listened to me, you're rich. Keep in mind, guys, I was throwing chairs in the pool, not only under $1,000 worth, under Bitcoin in price, but at 16,000. You had an opportunity to get in under 16,000. What was it, December 2022? Think about how much money, how rich you would be today if you would have taken my warning seriously then. You'd already be in islandproject.com because you'd have millions of dollars rolling in, like many of my members, like Mr. Plaskett, like the Pitts, like the Quran family, because they've listened. You see, they've pivoted, they've leveraged, and they've profited. More importantly, they've gone to God and asked him for direction on what to do. And that's what I encourage you to do here Friday, April 12th. But a heart-wrenching, gut-wrenching story. We should pray for the Israeli people. They are on the verge of an imminent attack this weekend. And gosh knows how bad this is going to be. Here we have CNBC News warning of an imminent strike against America's number one ally, Israel, to hit over the weekend. This is tragic. We need to pray for the Israeli people. They have been through hell. There's been a tremendous attack just on October 7th. The IDF went down. There's still hundreds of hostages right now being held. And now a massive imminent attack and strike is coming, according to CNBC.com. Now, again, I'm here to wade through all this with a machete, the BS from the non-BS. I mean, if the media is telling us this, something's really off. Because again, they're not going to tell you when the attack comes. It's not like we got a warning before October 7th. So the fact that they're telling us an attack is imminent by Iran tells me it's propaganda, and we're probably going to get a false FLAG. That's what I see here. So I'm not trusting just because the media is telling me. I'm just pointing out it does mean it's imminent, but it means the U.S. government and the intelligence apparatus is going to use it as an excuse and the scapegoat, in my opinion, to build support for a very unpopular war that the U.S. is currently losing. That's just objective truth, not my opinion. The U.S. is losing in Ukraine because that was their goal. I always told you this. When the U.S. moved in and started funding Zelensky, their goal, your U.S. politicians' goal, and everyone in Washington's goal was to lose. Their goal was to open up World War III in Israel by destabilizing the Ukrainian zone to move Russia and get China very aware as it moved in and supported the BRICS nations, took Taiwan, took control of the semiconductor trade, and then Saudi Arabia and the rest of the Middle East would turn, defend Iran, and then we'd be in the biblical war of Gog and Magog. Okay, and then there would be, Gog and Magog literally at the throats, as we really need to go to biblical scripture here, which I'm not going to do today, on what's really going on, because these are universal truths. So West Texas Intermediate futures hit a session high of $87 a barrel. Multiple media reports that Israel is preparing for an imminent attack by Iran. You're going to want to stay for this too. I am going to try to bring Papa John on if he's available. I know he's been on the phones all this morning, as I have. We've been onboarding people to islandproject.com. I am going to have him at least attempt to give him a call so that he could weigh in. My dad is so amazing. He is such a steadfast, experienced hand and mentor. My dad's massively successful. He's run multiple businesses at huge success rates. Actually retired in his early 40s, took some time off, and then basically got bored. And we've talked about this, realized that, retirement and some options are wonderful. Like, I pray for all of you to have options, financial security, and retirement, but I really believe that we've been built to work. And I believe that I'm 100% correct about that. So, all glory to God. I want to bring Papa John on here just to provide the steadfast nature of why it's so important and critical to be onboarding everyone here today, how we can help you and make sure it's the right move, that it's the prudent move, that it's the smart move, and to give you that absolute security and confidence that you've bought, which all of my members have, the best investment in the world, period, bar none. We are the unparalleled diamond nuts opportunity. We've been built for this moment. We've been built for World War III. This is what God told me. We've been built for economic calamity, instability. We've been built for hyperinflation and built for the digital reset, as I now posture all of our members for tokenization here in 2024 and 2025 liftoff, is now BlackRock moves in and the large institutions gobble all of the crypto up and grab the bags as we move forward into 2030, which we all know there's an agenda around 2030. Here we have F-16 fighter jets being scrambled in Tel Aviv as we speak, according to this CNBC.com report. So the commodity play is really huge right now as a result of these geopolitical tensions. Let me go here too and see if I'm missing any other part of the story, and then we will see if I can bring on Papa John. Give us a like for that. That'll encourage him to come on as well. My dad speaks when it's important, when he's got a very serious message to bring. We're far too busy. I'm the media guy, so it's my job to be on camera and warning you. We have very little time to prepare, very little time left. So time is of the essence. Time is very important right now. So again, utilize your time as you're getting ready. Yes, Iranian attack expected in Israel in the next 2 days. Giant warning. Biden says sooner rather than later. Wow, just seeing that right now. The Jewish state is bracing for an unprecedented strike. I sure hope that it's not nuclear. USA is now moving warships. This is breaking now, according to the Wall Street Journal, into the area as a result of the Iranian attack. This is biblical, ladies and gentlemen. Let me see if I can bring on good old Papa John Diamond Nuts Sr. here, if he's not already on the phone with one of our beautiful members.
Hi there, Chris Greene.
Hey, Papa John. How you doing, Dad?
Well, I'm doing great. I've been waiting for the call.
Well, hey, thank you very much. So I've been given the, big rundown. I know you're super busy with our members, and we've, breached unprecedented, record funding rates just in recent weeks and months. So I appreciate your time. I won't take too much of it, but I just wanted you to weigh in. We're seeing all this instability in the world today. Stocks, which is typical as we move into tax season. I mean, I've seen this for a long time myself. Even at 42 years of age, you're going to get a lot of tax selling, coming into April 15th. But I have a feeling it's not over with. I have a feeling we're super long in the tooth with stocks. We're seeing the significant 7 start to dump. We're even seeing this across crypto, which is why I've been telling people to take profits in recent weeks. I've been instructing people to take at least 25% off the table. I'm still giving that advice. Can you just tell us, your opinion of what's going on and also why it's important, why Island Project is the prudent move to onboard today?
Yeah. Okay. Well, great. And I think you're on. Definitely on track with your advice. I mean, don't be as Island Project investors or AMTV subscribers. I wouldn't be afraid to pair off some Bitcoin. And I'm not the crypto expert. Christopher is, but anytime you have some big gains, don't be afraid to take a little bit off and put it in your pocket and move it somewhere else. As far as the stock market goes, I think you know my opinion on that, Christopher. I think it's been artificially inflated for a lot of different reasons, and wouldn't surprise me to see the stock market at some point in time. It's tough to predict it, but take a big hit, a big dump, and on the flip side of it, it'll be interesting to see what happens with crypto when and if that happens, and how soon that happens. So I wouldn't be surprised if crypto continued to act very well and the stock market didn't act so well. So that's kind of what I see for now. I don't have any crystal balls, but I think my opinion. The stock market's been overly inflated. Nothing really looks right with the stock market.
Yeah, so you've been around a long time, and as an investor yourself, could you tell the audience what was your memory of the 1987 stock market crash? What was that like at the time? Because I was too young to really remember that.
Yeah, well, you know what? I was and I was a pretty young guy at that time. In the market, running a business. In fact, I was running money for the company that I was with at the time as well. So we were invested. Yeah, I remember, hey, it was a shocking, when the market goes down 20% in a day, it definitely gets your attention, right? And it was a full-blown panic.
Mm-hmm.
But I think, obviously the Fed came in and did what they had to do, even back then, and that might have been the first time that the Fed had really done some kind of intervention, a lot different than what they did in 2008. But, we had market down 20% in a day.
Yeah.
Could that happen again? You bet it could. It could. Who knows? With all the computer trading that we have now and all the algorithmic trading, if something really negative happens, it could really feed off itself. But I do remember that, hey, anybody that was around and they had a somewhat, at that point in time, some kind of a balanced portfolio, by the end of the year, everybody was okay. Mm-hmm. But it was a scary event when it happened.
Yeah, well, that was a big move. So I guess what it was, 22%, I looked it up just to see what the number was. I think that'd be equivalent to like 8,000 points down in a single trading session on the Dow, if we were equated, to that. Obviously, we were very fortunate, you and I did, not to be around in 1929, but I know that your grandparents, my grandparents, your parents, remember that. I mean, are any takeaways just from your own mother and father and how that experience not only probably took them by surprise, but how it had lasting effects on their life and even their financial habits and those kinds of things?
Oh yeah, definitely. And if we had some kind of a huge event, or like if we could imagine the stock market just going down and continue to go down, and it goes down over 5 or 6 years, it'll have a fundamental effect, or it should, on everybody's mentality. But I know with my mom and dad, huge effect on them. As far as being risk adverse, they probably couldn't have been more risk adverse. I mean, they were very hard-working people. My dad did very well, and my mom did very well, but it wasn't because they were taking a lot of outside chances. They were basically, like a lot of people from their generation, they were working hard, had their nose to the ground, and worked so hard they didn't look up until they thought it was safe to do so. So it's a big. We can't imagine it, but we can't exclude the possibility that something like that might happen again.
Yeah, and we're in different times too now. We're going through a digital revolution. So, as Mark Twain has said, history doesn't repeat, but it rhymes. And so I think we're going to see a lot of this play out in new form as we transfer into a new system and blockchain, and as we see institutions onboarding Bitcoin and all this that we're talking about. I've been talking about on a regular basis. Now, our number one tenant is a part of islandproject.com is it's a safe haven investment. Our number one tenant is that we have no bank debt. And can you speak to that for a minute? Because I really want people to fundamentally understand how safe and world-class this investment is. There's essentially no downside. We always have an appraised value. We have a provable roadmap now. We now own 3 beautiful properties, including a spec home that we're working on this year. We're soon about to close on our next several properties. Can you just speak to that? All the rollovers we've been doing, we've had amazing individuals come over, step up levels to the 1000X units, even today with Mr. Plaskett and others. Just speak to how just so plain and simple it is, and why this is the best investment and so stable and safe in trying times like this.
Okay, well, I mean, number one, as you know, and obviously all of our investors that are with us know, I mean, the big thing is you're investing in true fractional ownership of what we think now is going to be a 10-property portfolio on the islands of Maui and Oahu. So, Christopher, we don't use any bank debt, we don't use any leverage. So all of our investors have 100% equity when they make the investment. I think a big thing, too, to consider is we think these 10 properties, the way we're putting these together, the value of all 10 is going to be greater than if we split all those properties up individually. And of course, we're building the great Island Project brand around that. So that's what we're doing. Instead of buying those gold bars at Costco, I think it would make a lot of sense for investors to roll some money into the Island Project for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'm a big advocate of gold and own gold, but gold does not produce cash flows. And in an environment where there's a flight to safety, and I'm totally against dollars, obviously, US dollars and fiat, but when the US dollar is strengthening, that's a very attractive, cash flow producing, stable asset class. And one of the cool things a lot of people don't know, in the future, as we make distributions, there will be options not just to be paid in USD, but also various other cryptos and technologies that we're all seeing being developed now. So you're actually going to have a choice in the future, what you receive. And this will go for investments, I believe, across the board, even on Wall Street, as we move into this new digital system. How do people roll over their retirement accounts? What is the process of doing that? Could you explain that to someone who maybe hasn't heard us speak to that before? Because you can roll over retirement accounts, your Roth IRA, other investments like it.
Yeah, well, absolutely. And I think, most people, I guess I'll start by saying about 40% of the funds that we get into the Island Project, maybe a little more now, it's rollover IRA, or it's 401k money that's been turned into IRA money to come into the Island Project. But the main thing, Christopher, is they have to have a custodian, and we have that will actually make the investment on the investor's behalf, and they'll subscribe to the investment, and the money gets wired in from that custodian. But we have one that's in, there's no pun intended, but our preferred custodian is Preferred Trust. They're very dialed into what we do, and most of our funds come in to the Island Project from Preferred Trust, if it's Roth IRAs or traditional IRAs. But you have to have a custodian. If somebody needs to they want a little guidance, give me a call on that, or text me at 808-442-2934. Typically what I do is I draft a letter, I get Preferred Trust in touch, I copy the client on the email, and within 24 hours the process gets started. But it's easy, and Preferred Trust is not the only one. We have funds that come in from Equity Trust, Advanta, NDTCO. So as long as you have a custodian that's allowed to invest in private offerings like the Island Project, then we can get you on board.
Yeah, talk to the fact, too, that a lot of even our largest investors, but a lot of our investors in general, have not only been following me for years, but have made money based on my recommendations in crypto and being on the front end of technology. Speak to that for a minute, because I don't think a lot of people realize that, especially new subscribers. I've been on top of this for years, and my recommendations have been spot on. I've been right about Bitcoin, and our members have made a lot of money. One of the reasons why we've had such a huge success rate with our funding as a part of islandproject.com.
Well, look, and you've done a great job with that, and obviously, you've been on a mission to help people and help people make money and figure out how to navigate through some very strange times that we've been going through. But it's no secret is the crypto market has been moving higher. A lot of that money gets paired off from some of our existing investors that will cut a little bit off crypto, roll that into the Island Project, because they can see the vision. They understand what we're doing. So the fact that we're really doing something entirely unique that we think we can do over and over and over again, the fact that we're marrying true fractional ownership of this marquee Hawaii real estate portfolio, working our business plan, building our brand, and marrying that with future tokenization is a very powerful thing. So it's gratifying to know that we've had a number of these that have come in. When we first started our capital raise, it was a capital raise, right? We launched in mid-July 2022. We had a couple of our first investors roll in for 60,000 or 30,000, and some of those initial investors, a couple of them have bumped up right against the $1 million mark. And we have a few others that have bumped up right against up to the $500,000 mark. And I think, given that we're talking about this too, I mean, as you know, we've instituted some tier levels, so I would encourage all the existing investors to pay attention to that. What we've offered with the tier levels just gives you some added value as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And for those of you who don't know, please reach out to my dad at 808-442-2934. That's 808-442-2934. He can go through the tier levels. Once you reach certain tiers, 250K, 500K, 1,000 units, you get certain benefits as a part of the ecosystem. Comp stays on an annual basis. That's very valuable. And that adds a lot of equity, in my opinion, not just to the investment, but the fact that you don't have to stay at a hotel and you can actually enjoy some use of the true ownership, 100% equity portfolio is really, really cool as a part of our ecosystem. And keep in mind, folks, this is not a timeshare. I'm against timeshares. Timeshares don't offer income, cash flows, capital gains, diversification. It's completely different from a timeshare. So I just always like to point that out.
It is 100% true fractional ownership. Everybody that makes the investment is buying the piece of the rock. But as Christopher mentioned, we do have an interactive piece where about 20% of the time we're reserving time for our investor members to reach out, touch, and use the property portfolio. You can actually shake hands with your investment and shake hands with Christopher and John Greene when you're over here on the islands.
Yeah, looking at crypto, Dad, and then I'll let you get back to calls here, and also the stock market. People need to keep in mind, you buy a crypto, it might go up 100%, but it can go down 50%, 80% very quickly. When you buy islandproject.com, you're buying a stable asset class with no bank debt, and you're buying the best portfolio of real estate in the world. Ocean and beachfront, vacation zoned properties, some of them daily rentals. This isn't like crypto where it's just going up and down every day and it's crazy. You're in the best investment in the world. I want people to think about that during these crisis points that we're in. When stocks are down 500 points, that doesn't happen with your investment with what we're doing. And we really have the benefits of not just that stability, but we also have in that proven track record and real estate model, but in addition to that, unlimited upside with our future liquidity event. And our tokenization event, which we believe, we don't know what that number is going to be a big 1,000x number. So it's really the best of both worlds where you get exposure to both. A safe haven investment during all these problems with no bank debt, plus we've got a lot of people too that aren't crypto experts. They don't want to learn about crypto. They don't want to spend the time like I do to figure out what's the best exchange or what is the best pick Or how do you use a wallet? How do you safeguard your investment? We do all of that. See our terms and disclaimers, of course, in a turnkey fashion for our members. So it's an unbelievable opportunity to join us in a stable investment, a safe one, but in addition to that, a turnkey crypto experience, which is professionally managed by you and I, our team of consultants here in Maui and our professional management team.
Well, absolutely. And I think for the new investors, gosh, guys, we have our proof of concept, okay? And you will be part of the founders round, but it's not like, for a new investor, it's not like you're coming in at the beginning of the capital raise. In a lot of respects, we already have our proof of concept. And by the end of this year, we fully expect to have 6 properties in the portfolio. We could have more. By the end of 2025, we should have the whole island project portfolio complete, up and running, creating operating income for our investor community, interactive use. And our main guy here, Christopher Greene, is going to tokenize the entire island project portfolio and the brand, and we expect some great things from that. So, yeah, if I was an outsider looking in, there's nothing like the island project. But if you have a little time to spend with me, then we're going to get you dialed in, and you'll be ready to jump on board.
Yeah, and you point this out to me all the time. Obviously, I'm gung-ho, and the technology space is my, primary interest in tokenizing the project. But you tell me all the time, even without tokenization, let's say we never even tokenize the project. What is islandproject.com worth just on its own as a core real estate investment and asset class? Could you comment on that or give an opinion?
Yeah, and look, the investors that have really been with us from the start and have continued to add to their investment, they've added because of conversations that we've had about this. But aside from the tokenization, we know we have something great. We feel like we could turn this $33.5 million capital raise, once it's complete, we can make the island project portfolio $100 million or north of that. And that doesn't include the brand that we're building and the business plan that we're operating. So,
absolutely,
yeah, Christopher, we have strict criteria for buying the properties. They have to meet quite a few criteria, but we know what we have. And the reason we're getting a lot of capital inflows from new investors, but in particular investors that have been with us for a while, is because they get the vision. So, we couldn't be more excited, everybody, and God bless all of our investors that have been with us, that believe in us. Mm-hmm. And I think, Christopher, the big thing you need to kind of reinforce, too, is the fact that I'm not sure how powerful it is, but I know it's very, very powerful, is the fact we have 235 or so like-minded investors from all over the world. And I think together, we're really going to make the island project something special.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, I appreciate your time, Dad. I don't know if there's any top of mind members. I know you've been speaking with a lot of people. I did mention quite a few people earlier. Any top of mind people you want to maybe shout out just by first name that you've been working with or helping onboard in the last few days?
Well, I'm not going to mention anybody in particular, Christopher, just because there's been so many. I don't want to leave somebody out, but as you know, we have a lot of people that have been trickling into Dealmaker, our secure investor portal. So I've been speaking to so many of them and so many great people. So I just want them to know that when I have a chance to talk to all of you people, that it's meaningful, and we're very, very happy to have you on board.
Well, Dad, thank you very much. I'll let you get back to work here, and I love you. God bless, Dad.
I love you too, son. Go get them.
Okay, you as well. All right, ladies and gentlemen, so I hope that today's message resonates with you. I hope that you're heeding the warning. I hope, number one, that you're taking action and you're getting ready. Again, I've said for years now, pivot, leverage, profit, get into a real asset. You also need to be learning about cryptocurrency, participating in the blockchain revolution along with us, at islandproject.com. As my dad was mentioning too, we have strict criteria for the properties we're buying. You must keep in mind, inventory is the tightest it has ever been in the world. The best properties in the world are being bought by major investors, BlackRock included, and the wealthiest individuals like Jeff Bezos and others. And so it's very difficult finding the best properties in the world as we DCA, dollar cost average our acquisitions as we build out our multi-hundred million plus asset portfolio here at islandproject.com. So rest assured that the number one smartest move that you can make today, as you just heard from my father, is the Island Project, is the digital Noah's Ark. And the fact that we don't know necessarily what's going to happen in the stock market from day to day, but we know where all this is going. We know what the agenda is. We see how the reset is unfolding itself. We have an idea of what the politicians are doing. We also see, which I think is one of our biggest indicators, what the wealthy and the people in power are actually doing. And I always study people's actions. And what have these people been doing? What is BlackRock doing? What is private equity doing? They're buying all the single family real estate in America in the best locations. And they're mostly buying the properties that they don't want you to own. And in addition to that, they're buying Bitcoin. So BlackRock will own all of it so they can securitize it. And then they're moving in. And we're seeing regulatory push into the marketplace so Wall Street can move in. So it's very obvious the direction that we're headed. It's very obvious there's going to be more global instability. It's very obvious that there's guaranteed more inflation. I would argue hyperinflation because of what the central bank is doing. At record amounts of debt that can never be paid back, not to mention the 2 wars that are now being funded, maybe even possibly 3 with Iran, as they're warning this weekend, assures it. It assures dollar collapse. It assures inflation. It assures, just like we were discussing along with Papa John, that it's not going to surprise us. At some point, I've said for years, I believe that there will be a decoupling. Stocks will crash. There might be a 1987 22% shock, and Bitcoin is up 50% on the same day. As a safe haven asset, as people remove themselves from sovereign risk here in the United States or any country they are in the world, and then they move to the safe haven. So this is the safe haven bet. Again, we accept all major cryptos, ACH, wire transfer. I encourage you to onboard today, this Friday. Call my dad if you need any help. If you need extra help with the rollover, we can help you with our third-party providers. But you can also just fund immediately right now. And it really is that easy. After watching this video, pausing this video, go to our website at islandproject.com here Friday, April 12th. Make sure you onboard, click the members tab, fill out a few-minute application to the best of your ability. You do not need to be an accredited investor, and you can fund immediately and sign, which I'll get a message on that with my team and my dad. We'll review it, sign it, and then at that moment, you become an instant owner of this multi-billion-dollar project. You become a new owner, 100% equity of the units that you've onboarded, 30, 100, 500, 1,000. You become a direct owner of our diversified portfolio at islandproject.com. That means you own our multi-million-dollar condos. You own 100 units if you have 100 units with it. That means with no bank debt. Total 100% equity. You are a part of our ecosystem. You will be a part of our future 1000x tokenization. You are a part of any capital gains. Let's say your 30,000 investment turns into a 100,000 investment. You've got that capital gain locked in. You are a part of those cash flows, those income distributions in the future as well, as we begin to move forward in 2024 here and also 2025. Great place and great opportunity today, of course, to take that aggressive action. God be with you all. I will keep you posted on more content like this and more. I appreciate your support, all the likes. Get it up to 2,000, 3,000 plus. Get the message out. I've been right about this, guys. I've been right. Not just about social media. I've been right. I've been right about Bitcoin. I've told you to buy it. I'm right about this. Islandproject.com. I'm right about the blockchainification of all middle America. I'm right and told you BlackRock would move into Bitcoin and buy all of it. And they've absolutely done it. So I'm telling you now, you have very limited time. I'm expecting chaos on Wall Street. I'm expecting bank runs. New York Community Bank just sunk to a new 52-week low today. No one's talking about it because they don't want you to know. It's trading, and let's pull it up again, sinking again on its way to zero, even after Steven Mnuchin essentially gave it a private bailout. Former Treasury Secretary, along with Donald Trump, $1 billion from his private equity fund. And guess what? It's still freaking sinking to zero. New all-time low today, under $3 a share. This is a penny crap stock now. One of the world's largest banks in the world is set for calamity. And I believe this will be a systemic shock that will not only affect FDIC insurance, but all major financial institutions worldwide. And all of the big banks, JP Morgan Chase, Citigroup, which is firing tens of thousands of its employees. I believe up to 20% of its staff is being fired. Take a look at JP Morgan Chase stock today, down 6%. Guess who's been selling? Jamie Dimon, the CEO. That's how confident he is. He's selling his freaking stock. Citigroup, stock on its way to zero, down another 2% earlier today. Take a look at this chart as it's been teetering at the bottom of oblivion since 2008 and 09. These are zombie institutions. These are zombie bailout, too big to fail institutions. The same one running Epstein's trafficking rings, guys. You don't want your money here. Cash is trash. The US dollar is worthless. You're living through hyperinflation. It's why the American people can't afford anything. It's why they're pricing you out of real estate. You're being priced out of your rents. It's why commodities are soaring. It's why you'll be paying $10 a gallon at the gas tank soon. It's why gold is reaching new all-time highs through the development of AI, with the instability we're seeing in places like Taiwan, with the blockchain craze, needing semiconductors. Why do you think China will attack Taiwan? Why do you think all this is happening? Because it's the plan. It's the plan. And it's been very obvious to see this for a very, very long time. But what's more important than understanding this from a media perspective, or being warned, or tuning into people like me on a daily basis and being educated, those are all wonderful, great things. But the most important thing you can do is act. And so I'm here to encourage you that you act. I'm encouraging you to move your money. I'm encouraging you to take action in your life so you are protected for what we know is ahead. And also you're playing offense. Island Project isn't just a defensive move. It's a massive offensive move to win, to join the winning team, to join the All-Americans, to join the trophy asset. This is the Rolex, it is the Lamborghini, it is the Ferrari of residential real estate. It is an offensive play to tokenize. It is an offensive move to go 1000x with our public launch. It is an offensive move what we're building with our ecosystem. Far too many of you are in a negative mindset, only playing defense, and you're not profiting in more ways than one. Spiritually profit, grow your relationship with the Lord. Physically profit, increase your strength in your body. Financially profit with us at islandproject.com, and maintain that positive mindset during a very chaotic environment. Again, you can turn off the news a lot, turn off the media, turn off your phone. Just get ready and get what you need. And the number one place for your money is islandproject.com. Links below at islandproject.com. Links up here. On board today. Talk to my father, 808-442-2934. That's 808-442-2934. And on board while you still can before the door closes. Once we hit our 33,500 units, I can no longer legally add any more members to the project. So if you're DCAing, I encourage you to do that today as well, before what's probably going to be a shocking moment on Wall Street on Monday. Now that we're coming into the tax sell-off, I'm expecting, isn't that Monday as well? That's why I would make my move now, and I've been telling you all week to freaking make your move. I'm telling you to take crypto profits. I've been saying it for weeks. Take 25% off the top in some of these big positions, and now look at opportunities like my number one pick, XTZ, and buy into some of that weakness. But you want to be rolling over into the assets that are the safe haven plays. Yes, April 15th is Monday, so I can't imagine what that might look like on Wall Street on Monday. If we're already getting a sell-off of 500 today and we had a 500 sell-off earlier in the week, who knows? Maybe Monday will be 1987. Maybe it will be the 22% plunge. Maybe that will be when the circuit breakers crack. Maybe that will be when the debt explodes, especially now that the mainstream media is warning that Iran is going to attack Iran this weekend, I would say all gloves are off. We'll probably get a huge commodity surge over this weekend, massive instability. I mean, it could be total chaos this weekend. This might be your last video that you've ever watched, giving you the opportunity to onboard and safe haven your hard-earned money and build your wealth with us at islandproject.com. This might be the last freaking message ever before the panic, before the hysteria, before all the people are trying to hit the exits, before these circuit breakers crack, before the U.S. retaliates from a God forbid strike against our number one ally, Israel. There's another horrible event like October 7th, or gosh, who knows, maybe it even happens in America. Our borders are wide open. Why couldn't it happen here? I mean, guys, I'm telling you to get ready because I know spiritually it is the time to get ready and prepare. It's why I've been put on this earth. All glory to Jesus Christ the King. It is why I am here. We have infinite power through our King Jesus Christ. We've already rode through the clouds with him on the second coming and return. I have seen it. We are with Jesus Christ on the imminent return. Can I get a freaking amen? We are the warriors. We are building the kingdom of God right now along with you. You are the resistance. You are amazing. You are powerful. You have all the tools that you need today. Go in prayer, in steadfast prayer, and ask for his protection now. And ask for him to help you make these moves to improve your life, and not to mention the most important thing, save as many souls as we can along this journey. General Greene, islandproject.com. Over and out. Links below, April 12th, this beautiful Friday at 11:29 a.m. Hawaii Booyah, Maui Booyah time. Get in now. The digital Noah's Ark. See our terms and disclaimers, not financial advice. I'm not a financial advisor. On board.